Hey everyone, it's Ethan Ormis back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about the CDL Week 1 review of course, Major 2, which was a pretty great week of matches, and I did pretty good this week, surprisingly enough. We had some pretty close matches. We had some matches that weren't as close. We had some upsets and some surprises as well. Which, yeah, I mean, let's talk about. So, of course, we'll start it off with Friday's matches. A 3-0 from the Toronto Ultra over the Royal Ravens, which, I mean, wasn't really too surprising. That one I got 100% right. And it was a great series from Standy and Scrat. They had an insane series. And, of course, yeah, I mean, Asim is just alone on this London Royal Ravens team at times. And it really shows at times as well. So you feel for the guy because yeah, that first hard point was not close both times they played it. The other two maps are obviously a little bit closer, but yeah, it wasn't really a close series to be fair, and a pretty easy 3-0 for Toronto. And then Minnesota versus Boston, I had it going to game 5. It was not the case at all. Minnesota did not look great in this match. They got put in the body bag pretty quickly. A 3-0 sweep from the breach. And yeah, obviously, I guess it turns out that a lot or everyone on Minnesota is currently sick with food poisoning, which obviously isn't ideal. They looked much better in the second match of their weekend, but yeah, this match, Afro, of course, and well, Afro and Cammy really struggled. Cammy, that might have been his worst series he's ever had in the CDL. So obviously not great, and of course Awakening back on form after he's fully healthy. Of course, when he was sick during Major 1, I think that was a big reason as to why the Breach really struggled. But yeah, I mean, Fivet had a crazy series as well, but of course Awakening is just a fucking monster, and yeah, none of the games in this series were close at all. I think it was 5-0 for the Breach at one point. Obviously, Minnesota brought it back a little bit, but yeah, that was not a close series, and it was a stomping, if I were to say so myself. And then the first upset of the week was, of course, Seattle losing to Vegas, which I don't know how many people would have predicted that. Obviously, I got that one wrong, which was pretty surprising. But yeah, I mean, obviously it happens. It was I expected it to be 4 games for Seattle. It ended up going 5 in favor of Vegas, but it was a pretty good series. Seattle did not look good this weekend, to be fair. But yeah, you know who did look good? Clayster and Prolute. Prolute just has really impressed me since leaving Optic. He looks really good on this Vegas team. Of course, Temp is just always good. TJ didn't have a great series, and they still got the series win, of course. We had some very close matches as well. But of course, as everyone always says, if Mac is playing bad, then the Seattle is going to lose, which is just kind of the case. You know, it's kind of always true. Sib didn't have a great series for his standards. Obviously, a 1 KD is not bad, but like for his standards, he's normally doing much better than that. And of course, again, a lot of people say that it all depends on Mac's consistency, which is absolutely fair, because if Mac is even putting up a 1 KD, then chances are Seattle's winning. But yeah, accuracy had a good series. Of course, it's normally accuracy that's going negative. But yeah, some interesting matches. Both hard points were very close, and then both searches were not, and that control was not close at all. If you're winning an offense on Albagra Fortress Control, you're doing pretty damn good. It is hard to win an offense on that map. So and yeah, that's it for Friday. Now on to Saturday. Starting it off with an interesting match. I wouldn't really necessarily call this one an upset, but I had the Gorillas beating the Mutineers 3-2. I think I did mention that I could have seen it going either way, and it ended up going the other way with Florida beating the Gorillas in Game 5. Don't know why the stats aren't here, but yeah, Arcees obviously did not have a great series. But yeah, Brack and Havoc had a fantastic series. They both played incredibly. Havoc just looked so good. I think he dropped like, wasn't it like 17 in the search or something? Is that what? Nope, never mind. Maybe it was a different series or a different game. I'm trying to remember. I thought I had seen. Oh, maybe it was a Seam actually. Sorry, that it dropped like 17 or something. Was it Simp? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, a very interesting series to say the least. Not a close map one, of course. They just don't have the stats for the new players. Let's go to Breaking Point and see if they're up on here. Hopefully, we can find them on here. Let's take a look at player stats. Want to go to matches. There we go. All right. Well, never mind. Don't think it's going to be here for me either. No, don't think so. Maybe. Is this just an article? No stats in here. Oh, there we go. All right. So, RC's, again, like I said, obviously did not have a good series. Exceed didn't have a great series, but Exceed has never really shown any life in the CDL, in my opinion. Deceives and Assault played decent, but of course, Brack and Havoc were the difference makers in that series. So, with that being said, we'll move on to a 5-game series, which I predicted 100% right in the Rocker and Ravens. And the Rocker, of course, win. Again, they didn't look great, but they had, Afra looked incredible this series, but obviously they were sick. They were all playing at home, so that probably has an effect on their play. Hopefully they'll be better for next week's matches, but yeah, Afro had a fantastic series, a 1.57, which to be fair isn't even the highest KD from this week, which is insane, but everyone went positive over in the camp of Minnesota. And then, of course, again, Asim is just alone in this series. He just needs help. And you know what? Scrap's KD on both series aren't great, but honestly, I don't find he looked that bad. I thought he looked pretty good. Of course, a very close map 1, 2, and 3. Not a close map 4, a very close map 5 as well. And of course, a reverse sweep from Minnesota there. So a really fun match to watch, that's for sure. With that being said, let's move on to Seattle and Atlanta. I expected this to be a little bit closer, but Atlanta fucking destroyed Seattle, bro. It was not close at all. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. Selim actually had a bad series for his standard. Obviously, he went negative, which he just doesn't do. But then Simp with a 1.4, Abizi with a 1.51, and Slasher with a 1.50. And again, like, no one played good on Seattle, but, like, everyone got fucking horked on in this series. A 0.57 from Accuracy, 7.3 from Mac, 8 from Sib, and an 8.9 from Pred. So yeah, not really a close map 1, but then map 2 and map 3 were abysmal. And yeah, a crazy 11-4 from Abizi in that Search and Destroy. And then in the Control, Simp double positive with a 2.14. So yeah, quite a series. That one was a fast one, to say the least. Moving on to the final series of Saturday, I got right, New York over the Thieves, which I had going to a Game 5, but ended up being a 3-1 series. It ended up being a bit of a takeover series, too. New York just kind of ran away with it after map 1, really. I mean, some decent play from both sides. Skies had an absolutely terrible series, but somehow, obviously, ended up getting the win. I think he had a very good map 4, though, to be fair. Let me see. Sick. All right. Let me see if I can find it here on Breaking Point. I think he had a really good map 4, if I'm not mistaken, which I cannot see. Never mind. Well, yeah, like I said, I think it was a really good map 3 or map 4, but I know he didn't do good on the Search. Yeah, 1 and 10 in the Search. And of course, the first map wasn't that close, but then a very close round 11, a pretty close 3-2 on Control, and then a pretty close hard point to end off this series where Hydra absolutely took over on that El Bagra Fortress, I believe it was. Absolutely took over, and it was awesome. It was insane. Hydra had a great series. And then let's go back to Sunday now. So Toronto versus the Mutineers. It ended up being 3-1. I had it being 3-0. I had Toronto going perfect this weekend. Obviously was not the case, but still a very good showing from Toronto nonetheless. 6-1 in map count this weekend. And yeah, obviously they go very, very, very easily throughout this series. Scrap with a 1.58. Havoc didn't have a great series, but Vickle had a horrible series. I had seen a meme on Twitter. I think it was CDL Intel that had tweeted a meme of Vickle missing Scrap, because obviously they used to be teammates for the Ultra Academy. But yeah, Scrap and Standy, if they're playing good, this team is just almost always winning. Kleenex didn't have a great series, but Standy has just been really, really great to start off this season so far. So, yeah, obviously, Brack was really the only shining moment, or the shining star, I guess I should say, for the Florida Mutineers. So, oh, wait, I had mentioned the replay for the first series when I was talking about Toronto, but it was actually in this series, sorry, not against London. But yeah, map 1, not close both times that they were played. Map 2, not close. Florida dominated Toronto. Map 3, not close. First time both teams played. Fortress, Control, and then again, map 4 wasn't that close, but it was close for a little bit, but then Toronto just ran away with it and absolutely took over. So, yeah, with that being said, on to Boston versus Texas, which honestly, in my opinion, is a bit of an upset with Texas beating Boston, in my opinion. I just thought it made a lot more sense that Boston would win this series, but obviously that didn't turn out to be the case. And a very, very great series from Scump. He played fantastic, and obviously Illy just looks like, in my opinion, Illy's always just been an AR. I've hated ever seeing an SMG in his hands because I just don't think he's a good SMG. Obviously, he looks much better, well, KD was with an AR, so Hook played very well as well in his debut with optics, so very nice to see. No one on Boston played good, but the SMGs just got shut down this series. Like Nero, obviously a .68, not good. Map 1 wasn't that close. Map 2 wasn't that close. Map 3 wasn't that close. Map 4, a very close one, and then Map 5 wasn't that close either. Both search and destroys weren't very close, but they went opposite ways. So that being said, on to the Battle of LA to end off the weekend. I felt very confident in this one being a 3-1 for the Thieves, but it ended up being a 3-1 for the Gorillas. So I put my double points boost on that one. Ended up missing out on that, unfortunately, but still, it was a really interesting series, of course. The Gorillas looked good, and Thieves, again, they just didn't look that great this weekend. RC's had a much better series in this one, of course, and Envoy, the only one going positive. I mean, no one really played bad on the Thieves, but I just think the Gorillas played better. Obviously, that map 1 was not close. Map 2 was a little bit closer. Map 3 was not. And then map 4 was a little bit closer as well. Let's see if I can find the stats for the other players between the 2 LA game, or the double LA game, I guess. Let's see if that's around here. It's just not. Alright, well, yeah, I guess I don't think I'll be finding this one either then. No, doesn't look like it. Alright, well, sorry guys. I would love to talk to you about the stats, but I don't have the stats, unfortunately. So, yeah, obviously I did pretty good in predictions this week. I think it was an upset that Vegas beat Seattle. I think I could have got that one right. This one I was very unsure of. Could have gone either way. This one I could see it going either way, but I just think obviously Boston would have been better, but obviously Optic gets the win, and then Thieves, I felt very confident in the Thieves beating the Gorillas, but that wasn't the case either. So obviously week 2 starting this weekend, which I'm excited for. We've got some really good matches once again upcoming this weekend, which we will talk about in a future video. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.